Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel, the #1 YouTube channel for you to level up your communication skills, learn the art of public speaking, social skills, and personal branding to take your message to the world. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about brainwashing. Brainwashing, it's a very, very important topic because it's happening all around you, whether you're aware of it or not. You got to ask yourself, are you in charge of your mind or is someone else controlling it? Today's episode, you're going to learn about brainwashing, how it happens, and you're going to learn about the bad kinds of brainwashing so you can navigate around that to leverage the good kinds of brainwashing, which is a thing. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. Charles Dickens. Have you ever had that one moment when you find your way of doing something and you keep working and working and working in this particular way? You feel as though you found your routine. As you are solidifying in this routine, some time passes on by and you discover a brand new group of people that are doing the exact opposite of what you're doing over there. And there's a lot of people like this. When you see that there's a completely different group of people towards your way of doing things, you start questioning certain things. Are there opposites to everything out there? In some ways, yes. Say you're a very artistic person and you view life through the lens of an artistic individual. Well, on the flip side, there can also be very, very engineering type mindsets that view life through a logical way. And when you see two polar opposites, that's when you start realizing that there are multiple sides to a way of doing certain things. Why is this important? This is important because it helps you not get too attached to one particular routine. And it helps you understand the different modes of thinking that you need to learn to leverage. Technology. All the way up until this exact moment, technology has been the most advanced right now in this particular era. You should take some time and be grateful. Wow, I am living in the most technologically advanced era in human history. There's so much good from technology. It allows me to communicate messages to all parts of the world. I can keep in touch with people that otherwise I wouldn't have seen for a very, very long time. I could travel all around the world. So much good is coming from technology. But wait, is it only good? As Charles Dickens said, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Whenever there's one side, can another side exist? Can technology also be used for sinister reasons, for evil? For you to understand this, you have to ask yourself, what are the 5 levels of communication? The 5 levels, level 1 is communication with yourself, aka self-awareness. Level 2 is one-on-one conversations. Level 3 is communication within a group. Level 4 is one-to-many, aka public speaking. And level 5 is mass communications. Communication plus technology. Yes, when messages are being spread very rapidly at a large scale, it's called mass communication. Communication plus technology. So the two are married with one another. The two can only coexist with one another. This YouTube channel right here is an example of mass communication. There's communication, this is me talking, and this is YouTube, a information technology platform. Combine the two and I have a media company right here. Now imagine if my message was very sinister. Imagine if I'm only spreading messages regarding being a racist, being discriminatory regarding other people, spreading hate. Well, this right here, this message can go out to a lot of people very, very quickly. That's not me. My block is communication skills. That's what I talk about, as well as mindset. And I talk about my particular experiences. But what about other media channels? Are all media channels using their platform for good? There's small scale media channels like this right here, and there's very, very large channels as well. We're talking mainstream media. Do you think every single person is using their platforms with your best interest in mind? These are questions that you have to ask yourself because every piece of content that is produced, it is backed up by an intention. Every single content out there. And if it wasn't, then most people wouldn't be tuning in. Imagine if I start off a story and it goes like this. Hey, so I woke up in the morning, I brushed my teeth, I did all my daily routine, and I decided that I needed to buy a laptop. So I go to the mall, I ended up buying a laptop, I give the person my credit card, he swipes it, gives me the laptop, I start walking, I start going to the food court, decide I'm pretty hungry, I want some Chinese food, blah, 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 blah. After some time, you're going to be like, well, what's the point? Why are you telling me this story, right? Otherwise, you have a lot of patience because just by telling that story, I was already getting bored. That's what most media companies do. They are producing content with an intent. The intent of this video is to teach you about brainwashing. The intent of other media companies, other content, depends. That is the first realization that you need to understand when it comes to brainwashing. Brainwashing is when your mind is being warped based off of other information. Information, do you know what it means? It means to mold the mind. People that are giving you information, you are giving power to because they are molding your mind. And when you don't know what this person is doing, you can't trust this person isn't ethical, that's when they're molding your mind in who knows what shape. There are certain times where you have to submit your mind if you want to gain certain knowledge. Submitting my mind? I don't like the thought of that at all, bro. Well, at times it happens. You have to submit to a higher authority to gain crucial information. Still don't get it. Do you mind giving me an example? Sure. Imagine that there was no internet, there was no technology, that kind of stuff out there, and I wanted to know what was going on within my body. I understand how my body works as a whole. I understand how it works when I go for a run, when I go to the gym. But what exactly goes within the body? For me to understand this, I have two options. I could either ask a doctor or a biologist or a chemistry teacher, those kinds of fields, or I could just cut myself open and see what's actually in there myself. Which option do you think sounds more logical, more rational? Which one do you think would use better judgment? Clearly this one. So at certain times, there's a certain barrier on how much we know. And in those moments, we trust someone from a higher authority to give us the crucial information so we can make the next sound judgments. But are you submitting your mind a little too much? Are you just giving your mind away to any stranger out there? Some suit that's telling you that the world is ending and that you have to listen? Why do you think a lot of these media companies call it a story? We have the latest story for you. Our latest reporter is looking for a story. What is a story broken down into? A story is broken down into the most fundamental concepts are character, conflict, and lesson. Notice the second one, conflict. A lot of these media companies, the way that they get their ratings is via the conflict. Not all media companies. Let me reiterate that because media companies have a lot of power and I don't want to paint them as being only sinister individuals. But you still got to understand that sinister individuals truly leverage the conflict part and they keep milking it away, and you submitted your mind to them because they're the higher authority, right? But are they giving you the best information to help you level up as a person? That's only for you to judge. A big part in avoiding to be brainwashed is using your judgment. And that's something that no one can teach for you. That's something where you can gather all the tools out there, but eventually you are on your own. What's one of the best ways to build proper judgment? By building your character. How do you build your character? By going through certain tasks, trials, and tribulations in your life. Anyone that you know that is very mentally tough or very mature for their age, look closer, observe their background, look within their experiences, and you'll realize that they have overcome a lot in their life. They've overcome a lot of traumas, they've challenged themselves, and they've dealt with a multitude of people to a point where their judgment has been enhanced. But if you're someone that's just trying to keep it safe all the time, You don't want to be challenged. You actually get angry when you're given challenges. Then your judgment is going to suffer, and you are going to be a victim to getting brainwashed by very, very sinister individuals. I want to give you 3 things to watch out for when you see or notice someone may be brainwashing you. The first is repetition. This is one of the best ways to brainwash someone because here's a concept you want to understand. The brain is dumb and the mind is smart, hopefully. What do I mean by the brain being dumb? Well, imagine your laptop. When you open your laptop, you tell it, hey, go on google.com. And your laptop's like, yes, boss, sure. You go on yahoo.com. Sure thing, boss, I'll do it. Go on, I don't know, bing.com, etc. Your laptop will do whatever you tell it to do. And that's sort of like the brain. The brain is an electronic circuit system. It has neural pathways that wire and fire together. Your mind is supposed to be the guardian. Neuroscience 101. The brain influences the mind, and the mind influences the brain. If you don't have a smart mind, then your brain is very susceptible towards your environment, towards what other people are telling you. And if someone is constantly repeating a message over and over and over again, eventually neural pathways will form unless your mind is being a guardian. Imagine I have an audience of 100,000 people, and I keep saying every single day via tweets, the sky is red, the sky is red, the sky is red. Over and over, I just keep repeating this belief time and time again. You know what's gonna happen? Most of the people, they're just gonna ignore me, but at least 5 to 10 people, they're gonna be like, hey, I think he may be onto something. I think the sky may be red. And who knows how great communicators they are. They may start getting other people to believe that the sky is red and the message is now being spread. So one of the ways that people brainwash is via repetition. They just keep repeating it over and over again, and eventually it bypasses your conscious mind and starts being planted towards your subconscious mind because your brain is forming new neural pathways. Watch out. The second way is via fear. When you can control someone's heart, it's much easier to control their brain, which means that emotions are the primal side of all humans. Humans naturally are feeling creatures. Feelings aren't something that you can just logic with. And when you have someone very scared, their thinking is very fragmented. As the thinking is fragmented, it becomes much easier to plant thoughts right in there, good or bad. And this happens. That's why earlier I was talking about a story is broken down into character, conflict, lesson. Well, a lot of people milk the hell out of the conflicts a lot, get the individual scared, and then boom, they plant the thoughts. So that's the second way, via fear. And the third way is through snippets. I'm sure thus far in this video, I've said a certain amount of things where if you snip it strategically, you could make me look like a very evil person, like a very, very bad person. That's what a lot of unethical media companies do. Rather than giving you the whole story, they just give you a little bit. And they give it out to a mass-scaled audience who are like, whoa, I can't believe this person is so evil. One good example is, imagine that you're about to go to your car and you're about to go for work. And you see that someone broke into your car and is trying to steal your radio. You catch this person. And what do? You pull him out of your car and you start beating him up. Hey, why are you trying to steal my radio for? Drop that. I said, drop that. And another person is walking by and they're recording the whole thing and they put it on the internet. They only recorded the part where you're beating up the robber and you're trying to hold him down until the cops get there. But what do other people see? Other people see you beating up the robber and they're like, whoa, who is this very, very evil individual? He's a bad guy. So that's another way people can brainwash you. They just give you snippets of the entire picture. And these are 3 ways that you gotta watch out for. These 3 are happening all around you, not in the future, but now. It's happening. Once you start understanding this, where I talked about your judgment is going to become your best friend in order to avoid being brainwashed, and these 3 strategies, that's when you can start to think, so it's that easy to brainwash myself, huh? And by easy, I mean, there's a process to it. It's not just something that's randomly thrown together. There's a certain process to it, certain frameworks. That's when you start thinking, can I brainwash myself? Can I brainwash myself to think good things? You should. If you are a victim, by the way, a person who's always planning your own failures, you're always worried about something new, you of all people should be brainwashing yourself towards greatness. Because here's the thing, other people are always going to be battling over your mind. They said recently that it's not cash is king anymore, it's attention is king. And what is attention? Attention at a very core level is just getting someone's awareness. That's it. So if you can control your own awareness and you can magnify the awareness towards things that can help you grow, why not do it? Follow the same exact frameworks. In this case, you want to begin with 2 first, which is you want to scare yourself first, because as you're watching this video, a part of you may be scared. You may be thinking, wait a minute, there's been all these sinister people spreading messages with intent, and the intent hasn't always been positive? Is that why I'm so negative? Well, that can be a small part. Whoa, I can't be carrying on life like this. Otherwise, I'm going to be on my deathbed regretting my behaviors, regretting my actions. Now you're scared. And as you're scared, you're pretty emotional. Your heart is involved. And this is when repetition can come into a big part. You can constantly keep repeating good information, information that helps you grow, information that helps you learn. And when you keep repeating it over and over, you have awareness on your side now. You have your mind influencing your brain. Your neural pathways start to get rewired in a brand new way. What did I say earlier? The brain influences the mind influences the brain. That's neuroscience 101. So you are taking control over your own reality rather than someone else controlling your narrative for you. Isn't that more pleasant? I talked earlier about how technology can be used for good or bad, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just a tool. How are you using the tool? If you are a very negative individual, then you think the tool can only be used for negative ways. I am going to slice this apart. Well, what are you going to slice apart, bro? Oh, just these onions, nothing to fear. All right. I'm going to brainwash. Oh, no, don't brainwash me. I'm going to brainwash for greatness. Yeah? All right. You see? So it's just a tool that you can decide if you want to face it the bad way or the good way or the bad way. But ultimately, you are the one that is in control. You can consume the right mass communication, media company, content, etc. Or you could be the person that is just consuming as a passive individual, constantly getting brainwashed from new thought to the new thought, feeling anxiety and feeling hopeless. You have all the tools in this video alone, but ultimately it's going to come down to your judgment. That's only something that you can influence for yourself. You understand how brainwashing happens. You understand the bad sides, the very sinister sides. Now you also understand the good sides as well. Which road are you going to take? Are you going to be living in the age of wisdom, or are you going to be living in the age of foolishness? Ask yourself that and then make sure you answer it. Thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode.